Yeah, my last one is gonna probably ruffle some feathers because this time of
Uh-oh.
year,
You saved the controversial one for last, huh?
yeah, well, controversial's debatable, I guess, but yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm here with Jay De Souza. How you doing, Jay?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Great. Thanks for being on my channel. We're going to talk about 10 tips. We talked about this offline, but we're talking about 10 tips to help everyone on Q4. You and I have been in the business for so long. I think we have lots and lots of information that we can give out to everyone that's doing this print on demand. And I think this would be a great, I know we're already in Q4, um, but I think a lot of these still will help, right? I mean, we're not at the peak of Q4 yet, where it's Black Friday and all the
No,
stuff.
you
So I
got
think, yeah,
a good solid month, right?
yeah.
Before that really,
Hmm.
that switch gets flipped. But yeah, no,
Uh,
thank you so much for having me, man. Like
of
people
course.
people don't know this, but like people know that I've been in the game a long time, but you've been there longer than me. Like cumulatively, we have like
Yeah.
decades of knowledge
Yeah,
here,
absolutely.
right? We were talking about it kind of before getting on here. It's like
Uh-huh.
we've been around the block, man. We've seen
We
like
have
the evolution of print on demand, really, right?
we're
So
the
I'm excited.
OGs.
Yeah, yeah. Well, for real, right? Without,
Yeah.
being self-proclaimed, but um I'm excited to, give people a slice of what we know and
Mhm.
what we've seen in Q4 year after year, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah, these have been tested, we've been proven, we've seen it over and over. So I think this is going to be a good list for anybody doing print on demand, starting print on demand, or even if you've been on print on demand, a couple years and want to get ahead in Q4. I think these tips will still help. So I think some of these you may not know about. So you make sure you stay all the way to the end, get all of them, and hopefully have a great Q4 this year and beyond. I mean, these will work for any year. So
for sure,
be
for
awesome.
sure.
All right. So I know we have, so it says 10. So we have five each. I'll go first and then you, and then we'll kind of bounce back if that's okay.
Sounds perfect.
Okay. Okay. Let's do it.
Let's
So my
do it.
first tip um, is keep uploading. So I know a lot of people, when it's Q4, I know it's really hard because of the holidays and time with family and all of this. Um, and it's people sometimes just let print on demand go and don't upload and then wonder why they're not getting as many sales as they thought. I think one idea, and I've seen this before, is as you upload, for some reason, I think it's the algorithm, I'm not sure, but as you keep uploading, you get more and more sales. Have you been seeing that? Have you noticed that in your journey?
I do. So, like, if we're talking about merch or Etsy, I
Uh-huh.
think
Yeah.
both, right?
Yeah.
Like both of them. So with Etsy, new listings do get a small boost in the algorithm. Like
Uh-huh.
if your designs are aren't there, you're not going to make sales regardless.
Right.
But
Yeah.
Etsy does what they do for new listings to give you kind of like a little honeymoon phase where
Hmm.
you'll get a little more eyes on your on your prize, so that they can figure out where to rank you in the algorithm. Right? They'll show you
Hmm.
at different times to different people, and their algorithm is very subjective, so it depends on, like, location, time of day, your
Yep.
previous search history, all that stuff, right? So it's not
Yeah.
just SEO.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's definitely, if you have an active shop and you list some new stuff, then they're
Yeah.
going to be excited to show that to potential buyers, because at the end
Hmm.
of the day, if it converts, then everybody makes money, right? And with
Yep.
merch the same thing, man. Like, I'll
Yeah.
go stagnant. I won't upload for like a week or two sometimes, like sometimes
Yeah.
three. Like, I'm pretty bad with the uploads on merch. But if I
Right.
notice a dip in sales there, I'll just, I'll upload 5 or 6 new designs that I've been working on the last 3 weeks.
Hmm.
And
Yep.
I don't upload a lot, but when I do, you definitely notice,
Right.
the next 24 hours, there's a bump again. It gets you back up
Yeah.
here, and then it slowly kind of fades out a little, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I would agree 1000%.
Yeah. And it not necessarily, and this is assuming that you're uploading designs that sell, and they don't necessarily, like, when I go on Amazon and I upload those designs that I just uploaded aren't the ones that actually are selling, but I notice an uptick in sales for my other stuff too. So I don't know. I think they're related. I feel like they're related, and I think it's wise to upload, is still keep uploading. Don't just stop uploading during
Yeah,
the holidays if you
I
can, like time
yeah,
permitting, right? So
that's a really good point. It's not always the stuff that you upload that is selling,
uh-huh.
but I think it just tells, like, Etsy rewards activity in your shop, and I think
Yeah,
merch does
activity.
the same, right? They
Hmm.
like they want to see that you care and you're active in your account. They want to see,
Yeah.
especially if you've got a history of sales, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
that's
I
Yep.
think we both agree on that one. That's tip number one. We'll go to you for tip number two.
Sure. So mine
Yeah.
is along the same line. So once you found those winning designs, now try them
Hmm.
on new products. Like for
Oh,
me,
cool.
on
Yes.
merch, for example, right? Like I'll
Yeah.
typically just upload to t-shirts. You
Yes.
know, I don't spatter it across. I don't upload for the sake of uploading, right?
Uh-huh.
I try to do some calculated, like some, I like to get sales on all my designs. I don't want, the 80/20
Hmm.
rule is not as prominent for me. Like I don't want to be uploading, all of that stuff just to only sell 20 or less
Yeah.
percent. But yeah, if something works on something, I would add it to, if people really love that design, they're going to love it on a t-shirt. They're going to love it on potentially, a phone case is probably a good one, a sweater, a
Hmm.
hoodie for sure, like
Hmm.
other apparel.
Hoodie.
But some designs might not work on the tote bag or on the pop socket or on,
True.
some designs just don't make sense on some products. But
Hmm.
if you have a winning design, especially with Etsy now with print on demand, like looking at the Printify's catalog there, I was like, holy jumping, there's so many, right? Because my wife is like, oh,
Yes.
those designs are crushing it. You're just those designs are crushing it. Put it on different products. Like Jay,
Yeah.
they got this, they got this. I'm like, I don't even know all the products they have. But yeah,
Try
some
them.
would be amazing, right?
Uh-huh.
On like on a beach towel or
Hmm.
on a water bottle or whatever,
Hmm.
right? Or like,
Good.
yeah. So I would say, try to find new products for your existing winning designs. Don't just rely on the single product that you put up,
Absolutely. And
calculated.
that's the power of print on demand, right? It doesn't cost you much more besides time to put it on another product and put it on and try it out. Like,
Yeah, and the
so
worst is over at that point, right?
yeah.
You've put your
Hmm.
hours in for the design and all that.
Hmm.
So it's just literally dragging and dropping on a new product
Hmm.
mock-up, really.
Yeah, that's awesome. And who
Yeah.
knows? Like now's the time, especially I'm glad you brought that up because Q4 is when people buy some of those products, right? Because as gifts and other things. So yeah, great,
That's a
great
big
tip.
one.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right. Tip number three, or two for me, but three overall. And it kind of relates to yours. So you said try out different products. I'm gonna say try out different topics and styles for your design. So now's the time to kind of brainstorm and try new things because I think Q4 is geared towards getting more sales overall. And so if you want to like test out something, maybe you want to test out I do kawaii design, but maybe someone else hasn't tried that. Go try it out. Try something there, and now's a good time to get some of those sales and kind of get some of that feedback of what's working well. Because Q4 is the time that you're going to get the most sales anyway, and so that will give you the best feedback for your new styles and topics and things like that. So
100%. If you're
yeah.
ever, thinking about trying a new design aesthetic or like
Hmm.
exactly what you're saying, kawaii, if you're trying to do other things, now is the time to throw it up because
Hmm.
it's the perfect test market.
Yeah.
People are thinking with their hearts and
Hmm.
not with their heads and their wallets, right? They're just,
Hmm.
the
Exactly.
emotional resonance, and they don't care how much you're charging for shipping in the back end. They don't
True.
care at all. They're not
I
pulling it
want
out.
this. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They're not only buying for themselves, they're buying for everybody else this time of
Yep.
year, right? But
Yep.
yeah, that's a great one for number three. My number four on that, to piggyback on that, really
Okay.
is to add personalization.
Oh, yes, that's a great one.
And this can
Actually.
work. Like Etsy is a lot easier, with the personalization stuff for print on demand and things like
Mhm.
that. And there's automated ways now. Like Hello Customs are
Hello
pretty
custom.
sweet.
Mhm.
It's pretty
Mhm.
sweet, man. Like I'm toying around with it right now. But yeah, anyway, they've trained the AI to like replace names and dates, right? And I
So
do a
cool.
lot of birthday stuff, so this is a game changer for me. But yeah, that said, it can also work for merch. So like family last name things, right?
Yes. Yes.
Like uh like De Souza family vacation,
Mhm.
or De Souza family cruise 2023
Mhm.
or 2024, right?
That's
You can
true.
just do like pick the top 10 most popular last names and put them on a shirt on
True.
merch, right?
That's
Um,
smart.
this is stuff that's selling for me. So you're not going to be able on merch by Amazon necessarily to, to obviously customize it when
Mhm.
custom personalization or anything like that. But
Yeah.
you can pick like 10 or 15 or 20 last names and get them up in those designs, right? Like the most
Yeah.
popular, a Google Trends or Google search tell you,
Why not?
yeah. And if you're looking to target, a little tip, if you're looking to target like 40 something parents or whatever, or a 50-year
Uh-huh.
old parent with a 20-year-old or younger kid that they're taking their family to Disney or whatever it is,
Oh, true.
look at the family last names that were popular from 30 years ago, right?
Oh,
Like
smart. That's a great tip.
No,
That's
from when they were
amazing.
born, right?
Yeah,
The most
yeah.
popular, because that's you're not targeting the last names that are popular now. You're targeting the last names of when they were, the abundant ones that of that year of like
Hmm.
1980 or whatever it was, right?
That's really
Uh,
cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
but
and
that's
luckily we have the internet and we can search that and
100%. This is all
chat
free research you
GPT.
can do.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's cool. We live in such a cool time. Yeah, hopefully, it'd be awesome if Amazon. I wonder if Amazon's gonna pick up on that and have have the customization. Right now, like you said, you can't, but you can do some of those tricks, like you said, the last name and things. I think even that's personalization that we could also do. Well, we'll get into it. It kind of works with some of my other ones. So for my last tip, I have something that's kind of related for that one. So
yeah.
I'll save it. I'll save it. All right.
Can't give
Not
up all the
related.
juicy details yet.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, this is the best time. Q4. I'm so excited for all these sales. So okay. Um, this one is not really related, but I think a lot of people, and hearing the comments for a lot of years, a lot of people don't do this, and this is raise your prices. So this is my tip
Mm,
3, which is I forget what tip we're on right now, at 5 probably. Is raise your prices right now on Amazon. I can speak to Amazon because they sell on there. I put my shirts at $20.99, and they
nice.
still sell. They
The
still
first
sell.
right off the bat, as soon as you're up.
I think I do 19.99 and do
Yeah.
20.99, but I don't do the 13.99 anymore. I just go straight because
Oh yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it's not worth it anymore. Probably in the beginning, like I used to tell people when they first start off to get the sale at 13.99, and then but it's when you're in the higher tiers, it's such a pain to go back and change all of them. So like from the beginning, I just 19.99 or 20.99. I try to get at least $5 per sale, so that's kind of like across the board.
Yeah.
So whether I'm on Redbubble, I'm not on Etsy, but I'm sure you want to get at least $5 on Etsy or more, and so on. For my hoodies, I have them at $35.99, which is about a $7 profit. So somewhere that sweet spot between 5 and 7 for all print on demand products. So I don't want to go unless every single product. But if you're looking at the smaller products, I don't typically do it. I don't know if you do, but the pop sockets and phone cases and things, I still only get like a $3-4 profit because they're lower ticket items. But some of the bigger profit items, I start moving my price a little higher. So it's kind of a percentage thing, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah. That's I totally agree with that again. I mean, I think we're gonna be probably in agreement with most of each other's tips
yeah,
here. I see a lot of people, I've never been the one to sell at 13.99 or
yeah, it's a tough.
even before they raised it, it was like what 12.07 or
Yeah,
12 something.
yeah.
I don't see the point. You're already, the 80/20 rule, the Pareto principles that like you're only 20% of your 80% of your income is going to come from 20% of your listings, and
Hmm.
conversely 20% of your listings are going to be the ones that actually sell, right? So
Hmm. Hmm.
to be able to put up, I'm trying to change that to like a 60/40, right? Like
That'd be better.
you're
Yeah,
you're
yeah.
already only going to sell 20% of your listings. Why would you not at least want to get paid for them, right? It doesn't
Right,
make sense to
exactly.
me. It's just
Yeah,
frustration, right? And then yeah, like
yeah,
you make a sale, and then then you up it $1, and I've tried that strategy early in merch, but I quickly changed my mind because then
yeah,
you realize you've got hundreds or a couple
yeah.
thousand at some point, and
It's
you
too
can't just
much.
go in. It's just too much before all the
Yeah,
tools were there. So
yeah,
like, and meanwhile, I'm making like 10, 12 US dollars on a t-shirt profit
yeah.
on Etsy, right? So how am I going to
Yes,
make $0, right?
you're
So
right. Exactly.
that's the other thing. So with your raise your prices, absolutely. You need to be able on Etsy, for example. So
Mhm.
sorry, I'm all over the place with this, but I'm
No,
excited
tell us
about
more
this.
about Etsy. Yeah, tell us more about
So
it because I
I'm
don't.
gonna
I
I'm
don't
gonna
have your
go
perspective.
I'm
So
gonna go with the merch thing first because there's
yeah,
people in all the groups that you see preaching all the time, like start low and go high, whatever. I
yeah,
start all my listings at $18, $19, give or take.
nice. Yes.
Depending on how competitive the niche is, it's 18. If it's not so, or I have a more of like a stronghold or a footprint in there, more of an authority, then I'm 19 or $20, like you.
Hmm.
And then I once lost on one of my best sellers. The Amazon's Choice badge. It was at
Oh yes,
$20, 19.99. I upped
nice.
it to 21.99, 22
Uh huh.
bucks, and I
Uh huh.
got it back. And then all the ones,
Whoa,
yeah, and I'm 800 plus sold this month at 22 bucks. So I mean,
whoa, that's awesome.
what are you guys doing at your 1307 or whatever it
Yeah, yeah,
was, right?
yeah.
It just doesn't make sense to me. But
Hmm.
on Etsy, like I'm again, like get paid, right? So like I
Hmm.
charge for a Gildan 64,000, which is the Gildan soft style T-shirt. For those of you who don't know, I charge $30
Nice.
US for that. So you're looking at, call it $25 plus a $5 shipping, or however you want to work it out.
Okay.
But that's my low end after shipping, right? So like I'm typically, $30 plus a 10 or $8 shipping, 38 bucks or whatever. But then you
Mm-hmm.
can afford to have the 20 or 25% off sale, something significant, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
when people see a 10% off sale, it's not enough to sway if they're
Yeah.
on the fence. You want like this boom, oh my God, I'm saving
Mm-hmm.
five, $6, $7, right?
Yeah.
So like
Yeah.
at 30 at a $30 take home after a sale, like you want to have your prices high enough that you can afford to have a sale and still make money. So after my
Smart.
sale price, I'm at $30, but then Etsy doesn't take all of it, but at the end of the day, the credit card processing fees, the 6.5%
Yeah.
fee, the 20-cent realistic fee, it works up to about 12%, right? So if you got,
Wow.
just do some quick math right here. So $30 times 0.88, which is the 88% that you actually take home, is $26.40.
Nice.
On Monster Digital, for example, through Printify, the 64,000 black T-shirt or any color, they're up to XL. They're $12.53 out the door. I pay 10
Okay.
cents more because they have the insert cards, which is nice now.
Oh,
You can have
nice.
a little care card in there.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
sweet.
you can design your own and upload it, or they have templates you can design on there. But so 12.53 out the door, 12.63, and
So you
out of
take that
that,
off.
you
Yeah.
take that out from my $26. It's still $13 profit, right?
Nice. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
you know
great.
what I mean? And that's after
Yeah.
running the sale. So like the money's there. People always complain about like how do you compete with these, those lower price things? Well, not everyone is doing print on demand. There's a
Yeah.
reality check, right? Some
Yeah.
people are doing like we were talking about this before the call,
Yeah.
where we're getting slammed with people saying, buy my wholesale shirts and I
Okay.
can get you cheap price. We don't want to
Yeah.
hold inventory, right? Like we've
Yeah.
been there, done
No.
that. I don't print for
Mm-hmm.
myself anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, not interested. Print on demand allows you to kind of live free and not attached to your inventory or your brick
Exactly.
and mortar. But yeah, so people are like offering that. Like, so you can't compete with people that are selling for $7 a t-shirt. You just can't.
Yeah.
So you also don't want to compete with them
No.
because the lower price point attracts a lower class of customer, I think, in
Mm-hmm.
that they are the first to complain, they are the
Mm-hmm.
first to leave you a bad review, they are the first, it's all about, like you say, like with your
Yeah.
pricing, like perceived value is a real thing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
it's the idea that my Gildan 5000 at $30 out the door is perceived to be better than one priced at $7. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Just because it's priced more, people think there's more value to it, right?
Yeah.
And you
Yeah.
can raise
That's
that
what I was.
value, with the personalization and everything else too.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say. Don't compete on price. Compete on value. Like, is yours better? Why is yours worth it? Like, you got to give them a reason to pick yours. And is it personalization? Is it better design? Is it whatever? Right. So I
Yeah,
think
man.
that's
Whatever
yeah.
you can do to stand out, and that's
Mm-hmm.
my point. My If you missed it, was to run sales. So raise your
Mm-hmm.
prices enough, to Juna's point, that you can
Yeah.
afford to run sales, man. Drive that
Yeah.
urgency, that scarcity. And I'm not talking like run a 30-day sale or a 10-day sale. Run like
Yeah.
a 24 to 48-hour sale, right?
Ooh,
Something
nice.
that, because on Etsy now
Yeah.
you even have like all the countdown timers in your cart, right? Like all the
That's
stuff that
true.
Shopify's been doing forever, you have
Yeah.
all that stuff in there, right? So it's like,
That's so cool.
sale ends soon, buy quickly.
Mm-hmm.
All the It's not the things that are going to make or break a sale, but it's the things that if people are not sure, it might sway them, right? So
Mm-hmm.
you want to use that, and that's all free built in. So yeah,
That's so cool. Cool. I'm
yeah,
glad
man.
you get the Etsy perspective because the people that are watching are probably on Etsy too and need some of
Sure.
those tips. So this is cool. Thanks, Jay. All right, I think it's back to you.
All right, yeah, that was mine. Was run sales. That was it.
Oh, that was it.
I
Oh,
was
it worked. You just
yeah,
worked it in naturally.
yeah. Sorry, I was
Okay,
piggybacking off your
that's
prices. I'm like,
nice.
yeah, up your prices enough that you can afford to have that twenty
That's
percent off
cool.
sale, right?
That's cool.
People are
Okay,
like,
so it's
well,
back to me then. Is that what you're
yeah, I was
saying?
just gonna say,
Okay.
because people are like, yeah, well, I can't afford to have a sale. Well, then raise your prices.
Yeah.
You are the only reason why you're not making money, right?
Oh, perfect. So
Yeah.
those two work together. That's awesome. Okay.
Okay.
Um, my tip number 4 is think about gifts. So I think people are like, what do I design during Q4? Well, think about what you're gonna give your uncle or your aunt or your mom or your grandpa. Like, what are they into, right? Is grandpa into fishing? Maybe you do a fishing T-shirt, and maybe other grandpas want that, right? So think about what you would create as gifts if you're doing T-shirts, if you're doing other products. Like, would somebody want this? Okay, is your cousin? Does your cousin like unicorns or something? Do they like phone cases? Make a unicorn phone, whatever it is. But so my point is, don't just do whatever. If you can't think of what to do, think about what you would buy your friends or family for gifts, and do that as your design. So that's my point.
Yeah, that's a super super smart one, because people, especially Q4, aren't just buying for
Yeah.
themselves, right? They're buying
Hmm.
for everybody else, and
Yes.
that's the other thing with the with your point about raising prices. That's
Yeah.
that's like I think the biggest point that we can make today is like raise your
Yeah.
prices, especially now because people are emotionally thinking. But
Yeah.
Secret Santas, right? Everybody has
Yes.
a price limit. Don't go over
Hmm.
25 or a $30 gift minimum or whatever
Yeah.
it is, right? If your shirt is like $12, then they're like, wow, it's not hitting that mark, or 13 bucks.
Good point.
But
Yeah.
when you got a $30 t-shirt, like boom, done, one and done, right? And people are
Yeah.
buying for gifts. People are buying stuff like frivolously right now, or the
Hmm.
next month or so they will be,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah. And
yeah,
they're looking for that specific thing too, right?
yeah,
My friend is into cycling, or my friend is into jujitsu, or whatever it is.
yeah.
So kind of target some of those big
So
ones. So.
smart. Gifts is a good one because that's what people are buying for.
Hmm.
Yeah, my my next one is kind of on a different tangent here, but it's more with the print on demand element, but it's
Uh-huh.
to expect supply chain shortages.
Oh, good one. Wow, I didn't think of that one. That's
Have a backup plan. Like I've been saying this for
yes.
like 5 years or 6 years now, but have backups for your backups, right? So again, I got to throw a bone to Printify that way because under their umbrella, you have like I sell T-shirts. It doesn't work for
Uh-huh.
every product, of course, but like if my Gildan 64,000 runs out with Monster Digital, for example, there's
Uh-huh.
SwiftPod, there's for Fill Engine,
There's
there's
lots
like
of yeah.
but yeah, expect supply chain shortages. There will be shortages. So like,
Hmm.
yes, it's exciting to see that some, one or two printers have the comfort colors now. Well,
Hmm.
I'm telling you, I am not going to stock a comfort color shirt. I'm sorry, but whoever's listening, I'm not stocking one until Q1. You know
Yeah.
why? Not enough people are carrying them, right? So two
Oh,
things
because it
have
run
happened.
out. Yeah.
If they run out, now what? You got to redo your whole shop,
Hmm.
change the listings, change the mock-ups,
Hmm.
because there's no other like kind of that stonewash, that vintage type look
Mm,
thing, right? So
yeah.
um,
No
it's
backup.
just
Yeah.
there's no backup plan. So I don't know. I don't want to see people get stuck and have to redo everything right in November or cancel a bunch of orders now. Like
Yeah.
that's the
And you got to
worst.
refund and do all that stuff. And
There was one point at the start of COVID, I refunded like $6,000 worth of
wow.
sales. Yeah, in like three weeks because
Wow.
people were at
Crazy.
home stuck buying online, so sales are going through the roof, but inventory was going the other way, right? So
Hmm.
it's like,
Hmm.
wow, it was a terrible, terrible thing. That, and again the fringes. So even if you are choosing popular styles, just because a Gildan 5000, for example, offers up to a 5XL or whatever, 6XL,
Yes.
I wouldn't necessarily. I would cut that back to probably a 3XL, maybe a
Mm,
4XL, just
because
because
they could
the
run out
ones
of
on the
that.
fringes, the XL and the 6XL and 5XL, they're going to be the first to fall off, right?
Hmm.
The companies are going to keep manufacturing, the meat and potatoes, the biggest
Hmm.
ones, like a small 2 and XL.
Hmm.
Those are your, yeah. So yeah, definitely expect supply chain shortages. It's not if, it's a matter of when it will
Hmm.
happen. So be prepared, right? Like, and it
What a
doesn't have
great
to be
tip.
all the same, printers under one umbrella, like
Yeah.
the Printify thing. It can be multiple, right? You can just link your
Hmm.
shop to them. You don't have to push
Hmm.
from Etsy to them. That's,
Hmm. Just
not the
have
way
them.
the industry evolves, but just
Mhm.
have a backup plan.
Yeah. That's great. I forgot about that because I remember that happened during COVID, and
But it's not
it always
only COVID,
happens.
right? It
Yeah, no,
happens.
it happens all the time. It was just the most pronounced during COVID,
Oh,
but yeah, it's
COVID
happened
was a
before.
disaster. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it's happened to me a lot of times during the years. And man, that's a great
And
tip.
you even see it
Great
on
tip.
merch, right? Like
Uh-huh.
you see,
Yeah.
they'll gray out some sizes and colors, like
Hmm.
the 2XL,
You're like, oh
3XL will be
no.
grayed out, and yeah,
What do
yeah,
we do? Yeah,
yeah.
that's crazy. That's a great tip. Okay, so my last tip, okay, is scaling what you have and scale what's working. So we talked about the personalization, but I think there's also an opportunity to kind of scale what you have. So maybe you've done. There's lots of different ways to scale, right? You could scale with the words, like you could change my favorite nurse or my favorite doctor, my favorite, like, change out occupations. We can change out years. We can change out, but you can also scale out, like this one right here, this corgi one of mine. I made the corgi eating ramen and the corgi eating pizza and the corgi eating sushi, right? Like you can scale it that way too. So if you find out like your shirt works, like, okay, how can I make just a little bit different to get that same audience to buy a slightly different but similar kind of thing? So I would
Love it.
say now's the time to scale it. You're going to get so much data during Q4 and find out what's working. Like, do more of what's working, right? So you can
Yeah,
scale years, scale family name, scale whatever. Like, to your point, the family name one too is a great one to scale. So yeah,
I couldn't agree more with do more of what's working. Like pay
yeah.
attention to nothing that, if not that.
Hmm.
Don't try to reinvent the wheel here. Like just, put up more of what you know is working, right? Like
Hmm.
Tony Robbins said it best when he said, success leaves clues, right? So like you
Oh
can look,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like I'm not, not that I follow him or anything, but that quote kind of stuck, right?
Hmm.
Uh, so look at your sales, look at what's selling. Like you don't have to keep trying to guess and throw spaghetti at the wall, see what sticks. You know what I mean? Like do more of what you know is selling, what's working.
Yeah.
What are customers in your if whatever niche you're in if it's on Etsy and customers are reaching out to you, what are they asking you for, right? Because if they're
Hmm.
asking you for something that is not ultra specific, but like generic enough that more people in that niche are going to want, create the design for it.
Yeah.
Not just for
Absolutely.
them, but like list it in your shop after, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Uh, yeah, that's a really smart one.
Hmm.
Pay attention to what's going on.
Yes. Yes. Lots of data this Q4, as well as lots of sales. But with those sales come data, right? So.
Tons. Yeah. Yeah. My last one is gonna probably ruffle some feathers because this time of
Oh,
year,
you
yeah,
saved the controversial one for last, huh?
yeah. Well, controversial is debatable, I guess, but yeah,
Okay, let's see.
everybody out there right now is posting all the stuff about make sure your Christmas cutoff dates and blah blah blah
Uh-huh.
are in your on Etsy, for example, or in your
Okay.
banners and your photo cards and put it everywhere. I'm like, nobody reads that shit. Pardon my language. No, nobody reads it, right? Like
Yeah.
like you have stuff. You had your own .coms for a while, like Detour shirts and stuff, right? Like
Uh-huh.
nobody. You still get questions about stuff that's in there.
Uh-huh.
Like nobody reads all the details. If they do, they're looking for like, if I don't like this, can I return it? They're not looking
Mm.
for like, the Christmas cutoff dates. People are gonna haphazardly order. They're gonna order with their heart, not with their head. They're gonna risk
Mhm.
it. They're gonna risk, cutoff time. None of it
Yeah.
matters. So what I don't do is I
Okay.
don't post a Christmas cutoff because
Okay.
then like everybody right now is like putting them in their banners and they're
Uh-huh.
advertising that you can't order. All that does for me is guarantee that I'm gonna, if people actually read it, I'm guarantees that I'm gonna lose sales
Less
the
sales.
next
Yeah.
day.
Interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Or the day of or the day before, people are gonna
Uh-huh.
get weary. And I don't want to introduce conflict or friction where there doesn't otherwise have to be any,
Mhm.
right? So
Mhm.
it's a simple question. You can copy and paste a snippet. You can keep what Etsy calls snippets is the pre-saved combos that you can reply.
Okay.
Um, and all I do is like you just click it and it's like replies is is while it should be there in time, I
Yeah.
just can't guarantee it at this point.
That's nice. Yeah. So
You
they
know what I
know.
mean?
There's some communication, right?
Yeah, and I'm
Yeah.
being real. Like
Yeah.
the idea there is that, yeah, it very well should, but I just can't control the post office. I can't
Yeah.
control the shipping. So there is a possibility that it may not be there. I just can't guarantee it. I'm
Yeah.
sorry,
I
but
think
I
that's
just
nice.
don't want you to be disappointed if it doesn't happen to be there on the day or before.
Yeah.
But again, it should be no problem,
Yeah.
right? just kind of like make them feel safe about it, but don't commit yourself because as soon as you commit yourself, then you're opening up a whole can of worms,
Mm.
unnecessarily where like, oh, refunds,
Mhm.
exchanges, this, blah, all
Mhm.
the crap nobody wants to deal with. And the last thing you want to
Mhm.
be doing in Q4 is giving money back, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so that's my big one is I don't
Oh,
post
good one.
an official cutoff.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're like 3 weeks out and yeah, no problem, 100% you're going to get it, no problem, no
Yeah.
problem, no problem, right?
It's
And then
those last. Yeah.
you got to deal with the 1 out of 100 that doesn't get there in time, then I'm sorry, refund it, whatever,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't introduce friction. I see a lot of even people's photo cards. I guess that would be the tip. Don't introduce friction unnecessarily. But
Mm.
it's
Okay.
mostly the official Xmas cutoff date I have written down here. But people put it in their the photo cards like no
Mhm.
refunds or exchanges. This is made to order. I'm like, well, if they were on the fence about your listing or somebody else's listing, and like I shop with two windows open sometimes side by side, right, to compare.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
and if I'm seeing this one is just jumping out at you saying, we're not going to
No.
offer
No. No.
refunds or
Mhm.
exchanges, no, blah, 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 final sales only. I'm like, why would you put that in the customer's face, right? Like, let them ask
Risky.
those
Yep.
questions and then reciprocate with those answers. But I don't advertise, red flags to people. It just seems
Mhm.
counterintuitive, right? Everybody wants to
Yeah.
protect themselves. Put it in your policies and let them know, right? But don't
Yeah. Have some
advertise
communication.
the
Yeah.
negatives.
But
Yeah, yeah. So
yeah,
that would probably be
that's
my
good.
yeah.
It's
It's
a good one.
it's rampant now. It's in all the groups. Everybody's like, where do I put it? Where do I put my Christmas cutoff? You're worried about the
They're
wrong things.
scared.
Worry about
Yeah.
making good designs.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yep. That's great. Well, cool. I think we got some really good tips. Should we go over them? I'll put them on here. I'll go over my five. I'll read them down, and you read yours, and then we'll just have them here.
sure.
Okay. So my five are uh, keep uploading. Number two, try different topics and styles. Number three, raise your prices. Make sure you got getting paid. Number four, think gifts for other people. And number five, scale what you have. Do more of what's working. All right. What were your five
And
altogether?
my five were number one, try to find new products for winning designs.
Mm,
Number two was add personalization, and this also works in a smaller way for merch than it does Etsy, but definitely for Etsy. Number three was run sales. So to your point about raising prices, make sure you can afford to run sales. If you can't, raise your prices. Uh, Number five is expect supply chain shortages, and again, I'll repeat: have backups for your backups.
hmm.
And number six is that I don't post an official cutoff date. So I guess, don't introduce friction
Hmm.
unnecessarily.
Perfect. All right.
Yeah,
So
man.
no, we got all those 10 right there. I think those will really help everyone here on Q4. If any of you watching this video have any Q4 tips, put them in the comments. That would be great to have in there. Well, this has been great, Jay. Thanks so much for this. This is
No
awesome.
problem, man. Thank you so
Yeah.
much for having me. Like,
Yeah.
it's humbling because you are one of the ones I looked up to. Like, I've been at this
Oh,
10
thanks.
years, and you, back in the day, there was no tools, no YouTube, no Facebook
That's
groups
true.
about print on demand, about any of this stuff, right? And like,
Hmm.
I had to like follow Detour Shirts and certain things to see what's going on, what's cool, what's
Thanks.
clever, what's hot.
Yep.
So to see you online and like to be able to kind of like share a virtual seat beside you, it's pretty humbling, man. You're a pretty awesome guy. So
Oh, thanks, man.
this
And
is
you are
special.
too, man. It's great to have you on here.
Thanks, dude.
Would us OGs have to stick together, man? So that's awesome.
Nice.
Well, anytime I'll hope to be on your channel too. Maybe in the future we'll do an interview there. And but just thanks. Hope you have a great Q4. I know you will have a
Yeah.
great Q4. So
And
thanks,
you
awesome.
guys out there watching, I am going to introduce Juna to you in a way that you may not already know. Like, I know this guy is an awesome, awesome guy who just wants to see everybody win, much like I do. And I'm going to, he already committed to it. So now I'm calling him out on it, but I'd make sure it happens.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm going to
absolutely.
interview him. It's going to be more of a personal thing. Who is Juna? How did he get to where he's at? And,
Oh, awesome.
the whole
That'd be
journey.
fun.
So I think it's going
That'd
to
be
be
fun.
great to show you in a different light, man, because
Oh yeah, bring it on.
people love you, man. Yeah.
Oh, thanks. Thanks so much, man. It'll be
Thank
awesome.
you.
Well, we'll see you when we do that video then. That'll be
Sounds
awesome.
good.
Yeah. See you later, guys. See you
Take
later,
care,
Jay.
man.